Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the ARL Mazda MX-5 Cup here at Hockenheim Ring. I'm Austin Knight. I'm joined by Andy Thompson with Adam Hadfield in the commentary box. We got Samuli Kimo in the production booth, and you're here live watching Apex Racing TV.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Hockenheim. Great track. Obviously, we're just cutting off the hairpin right at the end, the shorter National A layout, but all still the great corners that we come to expect with Hockenheim. But we had a very interesting round last out at Road Atlanta. Really good racing, and I'm expecting the same here tonight. So, Adam, do you know this track very well, and what's your thoughts on it, mate?
Hi guys, thank you for having me. First time in the com box. Yeah, I really enjoy this track. It's definitely one of my favourites of the modern offerings on iRacing. This shorter version in particular, I enjoy for the racing it offers, taking that little shortcut in there. In such small cars, it makes sense, as well as such a long straight up to the original hairpin. But no, I'm looking forward to tonight.
It certainly is a track to look forward to, Hockenheim Ring, and these Mazdas, we're going to be, it's like what we saw at Road Atlanta, a lot of drafting heading into that hairpin and these turns, and but it's a very technical track too in the second part, so we do have opportunities for drivers to really stretch out their legs and create some separation gaps, but it's one part technical, one part giant pack racing, but a whole lot of fun, and also turn one, lap one. We've seen it bring a bit of chaos in recent ARL seasons.
Yeah, we certainly have. I mean, it's a very expansive open corner. It invites the drivers just to try and floor it, but there's a big runoff on the left-hand side, so it's quite a forgiving corner. But the problem is the following straight that comes on. It really narrows down as you come down into turn number 2. So we've seen some quite spectacular accidents happen down that straight because it narrows off. One car has an incident, it sort of cascades down the field. So it'd be certainly interesting down there. But very very wide track, certainly going down the Parabolica. So like you were saying, Austin, I expect to see some really tight racing, some slipstreaming, and probably 3 or 4 car wide coming down into the turn, coming down into turn 6, which could be a hot spot for action on the track, that's for sure.
And we also have some action in the championship going on, and we're going to bring up those standings for y'all right now. Here it's Roberto Ferrari still at the top of the championship with his teammate Enrico Musumeci right behind him. Yamantis sitting in third, followed by Pavel Simonek, Dan Skinner, Ivan Pinocchio, Rafael Drazquez, Victor Lewandowski, Ronald Moon, and Paul Hayden finished out the top 10. And, Roberto Ferrari and Musumeci, they've just been absolutely dominant. And I'm going to let Adam take the Anfield.
So yeah, leading the AMP still, it's Victor Lewandowski. He's only got a 23-point lead, so he's gonna be wanting to try and secure his lead heading into the last round next week. Simeon Serino still following in closely, along with Russ Fowler and Damien McMullen. It's a really open championship in the AMs. I can see any of these 4 still claiming this title.
Yeah, we've seen Victor Lewandowski as well in the last couple of rounds actually lose a big advantage that he had in that amateur championship, having a couple of incidents in the last 2 rounds that's puts him well down the order of the AMs. So certainly the guys behind him, Simeon Sereno, Russ Fowler and Damien McMullen, are certainly on the charge up that amateur standings, and Victor will be feeling a little bit of pressure from the guys behind him, so he just needs to make sure that he can get back onto his winning ways that he started at the beginning of the season. But the guys behind him will certainly be hot on his heel, wanting to take that top spot in the amateur championship. So what's to play for, really? But as you were saying, Austin, the 2 guys in the pro standings, Ferrari, the 2 teammates, and Musumeci are the class field at the moment within the pro standings. And as we can see there in the point standings, which are obviously Ferrari and Musumeci at the top on Pro Drive Esports on 2,694, a massive lead over Team OTR at the moment in second place, with Furious Racing Team in third place. So there's a close battle for the second and third overall in the team championships. But 5 minutes 20 seconds into this qualifying at the moment, and we've got Paul Hayden of Team OTR at the top of the field, and we have Thomas Sorensen there in second with Pinocchio. Musumeci, Moon, Sereno and Jamanta still waiting for Ferrari to put in a decent lap. He's down there in 17th place at the moment on a 146.0.
Goosens, the AMS class jumps up to 4th overall with a stellar lap, 139.9. That's an entire road clear ahead of Lewandowski. Behind him, Jens Goosen's been having a great run. New top 2. That's Pavel Simnek and Rafael Draskaz up top there. 139.305. Definitely worked together to get that one right there. And I just love this track. And I love the open qualifying. You know, if you got a teammate, you're working with them, you're giving them the draft one time, they're giving you the draft the other time. And then sometimes you just meet somebody that you're running with. Both of you just gel really well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it tries to get that slipstream effect in this open qualifying, which is a great part of the Mazda series that we do have. The majority of the others, we normally have the closed qualifying, so they do all out on track on their own. But these, we decide to go into the open qualifying, and it's very much, do you risk trying to slipstream the car in front and risk maybe compromising your lap if they have a little bit of an incident? But it always throws up some great ones. But Goosen's at the moment, Austin, is on a flyer. The past couple of rounds, he's been the top amateur and the one to chase. We saw in Road Atlanta, you know, his dominance unfortunately came a little bit over copper to a few of the pros at the front, but was certainly battling it.
Yeah, Goosen's very confident throughout Road Atlanta, but David McMullen had that luck with him, the luck of the Irish with him last time to give him 2 AM victories. Race number 2, we aren't going to talk about that. He told me to say that. He doesn't want to talk about race number 2, but 1 and 2 victories for McMullen. We're going to see if he can bring the luck of the Irish out again, because he's going to need it this time, because he's currently starting in 18th.
Well down the order, that, isn't it, at the moment? I mean, you would expect him to hopefully try and move up that amateur standing at the moment, but right at the tail end of it, so we'll have it all to do with this are the finishing positions for the qualifying. But the reverse grids for race 2 and race 3 are 11 places for race 2 and 10 places for race 3. So if you're new to the Mazda League setup, we have 3 races of 15 minutes. The first race sorted by the qualifying times that we currently see on track. The second race is the results of the first race with a reverse grid of 11 places for this round, and the third race is the results of the second race with a reverse grid of 10 places. So it always adds a bit of spice, does the reverse grids in this Mazda Cup. So expect some fireworks in race 2 and 3, that's for sure.
And Adam, you've done a few races in the ARL series, and you know how that format goes. What's it like racing out there?
Yeah, I've done the TCR whilst it was still alive and kicking at the start of the year, and so I'm very familiar with the reverse grid format in particular, and it's always just so hectic. Knowing how to manage the traffic, knowing how to make places and not lose places is key in this kind of format.
It certainly is. The cars at the start, where you go to overtake or not, if you know there's a faster guy behind you, letting them by or trying to keep them behind you, and try to create a gap to your class teammate, especially if you're in the AMs versus the pros or pros versus the AMs. I know the pros is always charge up there, try to win the race, but the AMs is a little bit of a minefield at times.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's certainly midfield as well. The midfield battle is where it always hats, and if you get a few of the faster pros, certainly because it's 11 places, it's pretty much half the field. We've got 20 drivers here tonight, so it's literally the front half of the field will be changed around, so you will certainly have the pros. And Adam, probably, I don't know what your standing is on sort of iRating, if you class in the pros or the AMs, but what sort of, where are you at in that melee of field?
Well, without tooting my own horn, I tend to be in the pro classes for my own sins, as it were. And yeah, I'm certainly responsible for knocking a few AM drivers around when I come through. I think the AM drivers quickly learn to know who they can trust coming up behind them and who they've got to give a bit of space to.
So in short, you're much better than both me and Andy combined.
Yeah, probably. Definitely an AM driver, me.
I wouldn't.
Well,
trade.
qualifying is over right now. Here's your starting grid for race number 1. It's Rafael Draskazapel, Simonek on that front row, followed by Roberto Ferrari, Ivan Pinocchio, Thomas Sorensen, Paul Hayden, Enrico Musumeci, and Jens Gusens with the pole in AM. Horatio Mantis and Russ Fowler, Ronald Moods, and Victor Lewandowski in 12th place. And behind them is going to be Steve Cox, Simon Serrano, Nathan Healy, Jay Walsh, yes, Frederick, Damian McMullen, Ronald Verchuk, and Andrew Brahma, I believe, will be starting at the back of the grid. And surprisingly, no pit lane starts for this round, Andy.
No, they were very clean, or obviously just got minor infringements for Road Atlanta. So I think the guys are learning that, you got to give each other room. There's no point taking each other out on the first lap, but certainly going to be an entertaining first lap here at the Hockenheim National A.
Yeah, and with no one starting from the pit lane, we do have news on Tony Pierman, who is serving a vacation, I believe. A vacation from the league for the last 2 rounds for an intentional wreck. They will not be in the championship anymore. Is that right?
I believe so.
All right. Well, that's an update on them. All cars are on the grid. It's time to get ready to go racing here in Germany. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Red lights. Green, green, green. And away we go for heat number 1. Well, race number 1 of 3 here today in the ARL Mazda Cup.
Because that gets a good start off there, and Simonek actually managed to follow him. So these two not changing positions, getting away great on the line. There's not really much movement in the top 8 positions. In fact, Jared Germantis just managing to get a couple of places, but this is going to be a hectic coming down into turn number 2, getting too wide. The car coming up on the inside, that's Musumeci, I believe. Yeah, trying to get up on the inside of Germantis coming down. So this is where we're going to see cars going 2, 3, 4 wide, the widest part of the track coming down the parabolica here into turn number 6. We see Musumeci just trying to get that inside line over Germantis, and I think he'll probably get it done. It's quite a tight line going into turn number 6 as they come around turn 7 and head towards the Mercedes.
Plenty of curb on the inside, really hooked it round, made sure he got that move done.
Yeah, drivers using the curves to rotate their cars and get that advantage, but Musumeci and Yamantis still side by side. Yamantis gets a switchback, but goes out a bit wide. Musumeci, big hit of oversteer right there. Coming out of that corner, he's going to lose a spot to Jens Gusens, and it looks like Moon's going to get that spot as well.
Yeah, it's a big factor about these cars is you've got to maintain that. As we watch Yamantas taking the offline route. I think he's been watching the super trucks have too much trying to get that offline, but managing to keep the cars. These cars are very forgiving if you do get off the track. You normally be able to say, oh, as we see, no, that's Steve Cox actually having a turn. That's a really treacherous turn there coming into the stadium, turn 11. It's very off camber, but he's, I don't know what's quite going on. He's doing a lot of accelerating. Very strange, very strange.
Adam, how was that start?
Well, surprisingly clean, I thought. I'm very happy to see they all got through the pinch point between turns 1 and 2. Yeah, very well behaved.
Yeah,
very well behaved. Now everyone's kind of trained out right now, just going for that spot in the draft. The chaotic part of Hockenheim rings over, and now it's time for that 4D chess game on when are you going to go on your opponent, and do you have a better run on them?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the prime position to do is where they're coming now down to turn 6 to get that slipstream time and trying to get the car on the inside. But this is where I'd probably expect to see a few incidents of cars coming down the inside and maybe tapping the back end of the car in front. So keeping it very clean on that first lap. All the cars getting through. Obviously, we saw Steve Cox there, who's currently in P20 from a self-imposed spin there, coming around into turn 11 as they come into the stadium section for the second time here. Justin in first place, Simonek second. Ferrari, the always guy that's at the front of the track, really all over the back of Simonek at the moment. So be interesting to see where he ends up. Probably in the top position, as he always seems to be able to do. Pulls it out the bag and pulls away from the rest of the field. But at the moment, currently sat in third place with Pinocchio right on his tail. So I'd expect them to be all quite close on this one, Austin, though, because it's one of them tracks where the slipstreaming effect is going to be all the way around the track and not going to be really able to get away out in front.
Indeed, you hit the nail right on the head right there. It's really hard to build out that gap, and really start pulling away. The only gap that you can really start to pull on here is, well, if you're able to get the car behind you to make it a little bit of a mistake. But outside of that, it's going to be a real tough one to really get a big gap on people, and we're going to be seeing a lot of this train action as that's the Mantis on the inside of Paul Hayden.
Yaris Germantis is probably the biggest move in the field at the moment, up 3 places into P6. We've got Damien McMullen obviously starting back in P18 for probably his worst qualifying of the season, up into P15.
3 wide just for a second. I saw disaster headed our way.
Yeah, it's always a little bit hectic when you see that. The car that's due in that 3 wide is Jens Goossens. Gets a little hip check from the Musumeci right there. It's an AM versus pro situation right there, but Yamantis has some pace around here.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, obviously, didn't have the best starting place for his qualification, but up to 6th place at the moment. But there's a bit of a gap between himself and Sorensen at the moment, so he's got a little bit of room to try and make up.
A little bit of a gap. Sorensen's right behind him.
Okay, what am I looking at on the time?
Like, Goose is a Fowler, not Sorensen. Yeah, Sorensen's way back. I think you had a Crofty incident at Qatar right then.
Yeah, he's in front of Germantis, isn't he? Put me off here, Austin. How dare you?
Well, that's why Adam's here. Adam, take it away.
Slap from Fergie on that lap, down to a 1:39.0. We're heading to the first turn. I'm loving watching these cars bounce over that inside curve, getting right up 30-40 degrees to the horizontal. I'm worried about them flipping.
I have experienced flipping Mazdas. That inside curve is not much to flip a Mazda, but you can really attack that curve right there. Speaking of attacking, Lewandowski and Healy having a good fight against each other right now, and these two are really heated. Speaking of heated, big send by Simonek and Ferrari. Is there a side-by-side Simonek defending on the inside from the charger Roberto Ferrari? He's really feeling that pressure right now.
Certainly is. He's stopped for a little bit getting away here from Trozizak, Simonek, Ferrari and Pinocchio. A little gap, these 4 just getting away from the rest of the field. What's Tom and Tara having a little bit of a hiccup there, so
It's his internet.
Yeah.
Oh, the curve on the inside getting licked.
I mean, they drive these cars to the absolute limits. I don't know if you got any experience, Adam, in driving these MX-5s, but this championship puts it into a whole new levels. These top drivers that we're seeing on screen now, you know, they literally drive it like they stole it every single lap, and you know, some of the lines that they take are absolutely amazing. It's just a great spectacle to be watched, but yeah, so we'll see who comes out on top out of these 4, but at the moment Ferrari putting a lot of pressure on Simonek there in 2nd place. Drasisak getting a little bit of a gap, half a second over Simonek, but Simonek's obviously defending extremely hard with Ferrari, and Ferrari might see the inside here into turn 2. No, thinks better of it and just bides its time, I think. Probably learn from the fact of being the lead car in these races can sometimes lose out on this slipstream, but Pinocchio just hanging on at the moment there in 4th place behind Ferrari. Just got a ringside seat for the Simonek Ferrari show that's going on in front of him.
They're definitely loving what he's seeing in those mirrors at the moment. Anytime you can look back and see the cars chasing and fighting, it's just buying you time, which you can't really buy any way.
That was a beauty of a move by Musumeci and Hayden right there. Beauty fight down the inside, a little bit wide by Musumeci, and Hayden was able to get that switch back and go right there. And you know, it's just stuff like that just makes you go, I love racing.
Well, certainly in these cars, isn't it? Certainly in these cars, because it's just a slide fest when you go around the corner. You can just see him sliding all over, and it's all about keeping. As you see Russ Fowler in the background there, getting right out onto the gravel part of the track. But you know, these cars can handle going onto a little bit of the gravel every now and then. But yeah, it's just been, at the moment, Victor Lewandowski's sitting 3rd in the amateur championships. The 2 guys in front of him, Goossens and Fowler, with Healy hot on the tail of Lewandowski. So Lewandowski needs to start having some decent rounds and some decent luck, really. I think he's been caught up in a few incidents in the last few rounds, which has really hurt his current amateur standings. Obviously still sat in that first place, but had a sizable gap.
Fight up ahead. Fight up ahead. That's Hayden having an attack of Musumeci. Hayden's falling down the... Oh, Hayden's had an incident. Paul Hayden has had an incident. He's fallen down to 9th place. What's happened to Hayden? He went off track and 3 wide for the lead. Round the outside. Hard on the brakes. Ferrari gets into the back of Draskaz as... no, he gets to the back of Simonek as Draskaz... Well, actually, no. Draskaz trying to keep that car in control. Down to the inside goes Simonek side by side in front of the Mercedes Grandstand. Extremely tough fight right there, but while Ferrari was giving Draskaz the business, Simonek ran around the outside and overtook both of them. And Pinocchio's back there just like, I want to pass all of you. Down the inside, here comes Rafal looking up for the lead.
Ferrari.
And Ferrari as well.
Oh, bit of a wide line there.
Ferrari looking down the inside, hello.
Getting a little bit spicy now, so we've only got literally 5 minutes left of this race left to go. Literally been racing for 10 minutes. Where's that time gone? But these front 3 at the moment, Pinocchio just being a bystander at this moment in time. But these 3 out front are trying to push themselves to the limits to try and get that first place. But at the moment, still in the same position they started the last race. Draskaz, Simonek and Ferrari. But as we saw there, pretty much all 3 of these are hotly contested. And it does seem to be turn number 6 is the place to make that attack, and I wonder if we're seeing another great move by Ferrari as he pulls out, trying to get that inside line down to turn 2, but it will compromise his speed coming on the exit, so he needs to be aware of Ferrari behind that. I think that was a little tap there from Ferrari, just to tell him to move along a little bit faster, but we'll see as we get Ferrari here coming down the inside. So we've got 2 wide between Ferrari and Simonek. Draskaz just sat out front at the moment, but that slipstream will pull him in. Oh, these 2 are rubbing doors, but oh no, Draskaz went a little bit wide, might get the inside line for Simonek, but managing to stay in lead. These front 3 are going at it alpha level.
Adam, this is why I love this series so much. You just get moments like that where you just start laughing because this is awesome racing.
It's a brilliant introduction for myself. I'm sorry I'm not out there, to be quite honest. I'd love to be rough and tumble with these guys right now.
Well, speaking of rough and tumble, look at this group.
Oh, it's going to end well, surely.
2 by 2 through the same corner, and they're still alive. And oh, that's the Mantis swapping lanes right there, heading into the break zone. That's Musumeci diving down the inside, and actually, I think Doring Sorensen right there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the person sitting on the bubble at the moment is Russ Fowler to take that second grid pole position, but the battle up here at the moment with Jamantis out front, we got Sorensen, Musumeci, Goosens, Hayden, Moon all fighting for that 5th place position. So you just see the string of cars here. The top 4, obviously, top 5 getting away, top 4 getting away, and the rest of the field pretty much still bunched together. So last couple of laps here at the Hockenheim National A track, as we see Paul Hayden trying to get back a bit of recovery here over Goosens in front of him, just getting that inside line, but unfortunately it's too tight. But Goosens again just involved within the pros, playing out of his skin and not giving these pros an inch on this battle at the top. He wants to be
the lead is going nuts right there. And that is Rafal falling down the 4th, was sideways right there. And I think him and Simonek might have had contact with each other, because look at the front left of Simonek really bent forward, and that's allowed Roberto Ferrari to start running away as Pavel is damaged.
Yeah,
on the front of his
oh my gosh, Molly. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Down the inside. Somehow no incident right there, but Ivan Pinocchio is still trying to get past Pavel right there. Pavel is probably the limping one out of this group. He's got the most damage out of there. There goes Draskaz getting ahead of him. And there's Pinocchio. Simonek going side by side. Simonek with that damage just leaning on Pinocchio right there.
I don't know if we've got a replay, Samuli, of what happened between Drozdak and Simonek coming down into turn number 6. That would be interesting to see what happened there if we can get that. But yeah, we're not on the last lap yet, I don't.
No, white flag is being waved.
Yeah,
I saw Barney waving that white flag, so this is the
yeah, let's have a look, see what happened
what's
here.
Gonna happen right here. Here's the oh my gosh!
Wow!
Well, he came in there like a freight train from Dallas all the way into Houston right there. Oh my gosh!
He got the rear corner of Ferrari as well, 2 for 1 in that particular incident.
I love 2-4s.
Yeah, last lap fight for 5th place right now. Yamantis stuck in the middle with you, Sorensen and Musumeci around the outside and the inside, side by side, 3 wide. Heading into the double apex corner, Yamantis sending it into the corner. And, oh, they make contact and sneaking by Jens Goosens on the inside. Goosens up in the 6th place. There's going to be a lot of shouting after that move. That was a big, scary dive. And oh, Goosens gets the back at Yamantis. That is called karma, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, I mean, it all happens here on the last lap. Certainly on this track, I mean, it's all or nothing, isn't it, at the moment? And the one that's profited out at the moment is Goosens, the top of your AMs in 8th place, but just lost out to Sorensen there on this last couple lap. Paul Hayden managing to come through there to take that 6th place, was down in 9th place, so a lot of his...
Oh, and Moose just gets a big punt from behind from Russ Fowler. Fowler sitting in that reverse grid pole for race number 2 as Roberto Ferrari escaped that fight, dives down to the inside. He knows he's won race number 1, followed by Rafael Draskas and Ivan Pinocchio in 3rd.
I mean, what can you say? Ferrari again, top of the pile. But he certainly didn't have it all his own way, and it was from an unfortunate mistake between Simonek and Drozdak that managed to give Ferrari that little bit of a gap at the front of the field. But then we had the epic battle for that 5th place, Musumeci winning out there over Paul Hayden. But the top of your AMs is Goosens in 8th place. Fowler managing to get 2nd, and Lewandowski coming home with 3rd place. So a bit better of a round for him, but he will be our pole sitter for race number 2.
Yeah, race number 2 is going to be exciting, but Adam, how are you feeling after that race number 1? Do you think it's going to get even crazier or calm down a bit?
Well, I think my heart will have to come down a few beats just to calm down, but you told me that Ferrari would come through and take the win, and it's exactly what happened, so I'm looking for some lottery numbers off of you tonight.
No, it's just near enough a done deal in this Mazda League. We just, me and Austin know how good that driver is at the moment, but I don't know if we've got the results there. Have we still got people out there? Just waiting on Steve to come across. A bit of a terrible round for him. He's normally certainly up the front of the field, so not the best opening round there for Steve Cox, just coming across the field. And Adam, we'll let you fire through the results. You have to be quick because race 2 will be starting very shortly.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Okay, so winning the race is Roberto Ferrari off of pole and only, unfortunately, able to claim 2nd. Rafael Draskas. Pinocchio managed to sneak through to get 3rd, and Simonek dropped down to 4th in that final bit of contact. Musumeci up to 5th. Paul Hayden, our first British driver, in 6th place, and Thomas Sorensen at the back of that train of pro cars in the top 7. Jens Goosens wins the AM race, finishing in 8th from Ronald Moons, Russ Fowler, and our current AM leader Victor Lewandowski, who's lost out to Fowler there a few points in their championship.
There we go.
Race number 2, ready to go underway. Already, we have to think on our toes right here. Lewandowski starts on pole, and it's green for race number 2, and we got a stall car already. That's the third round in a row that we've had a car stalled at the start of the race. And Drastak and Vernercheck get into each other. Lewandowski pulls away in front of Fowler and Moons. Moons and Fowler having a big fight right there, right behind him. There's a little bit of smoke in the background. Right there, you see Jens Goosens looking on to the inside of Fowler. Fowler now looking on to the inside of Moons. That's Moons! And big contact right there. Moons and Fowler make contact with each other. They're still racing, though, but that was a big door. Oh, getting very loose to the 273 and Russell Fowler coming out of the parabolica right there. Jens Goosens going to storm right past him while drafting on Moons, but now Goosens He's going after that lead of the race because it's also the AM lead race. He's looking down the inside. He's not going to be right there. Moon's able to stay ahead, and Moon's got a 2-car lead to Sorensen right there. Fowler's off the track. Fowler's falling down a few spots. There's a little bit of jambling right there. They're 2x2. It's hard to see every little impact going on right there. I see Mantis and Ferrari also having a good idea in there. Sivanek around the outside. We got a car spot in front of the field. That's a 130. Oh, big crash. Mantis involved.
Oh no.
Goosens.
Is that Goosens again? Oh, what happened there? Goosens got a magically restored car.
No, that's not Goosens. That's a 282 of Jens Frederick.
Oh, Jens Frederick, yes, so it is, yeah. It was Goosens, same livery there as Goosens, but bumper cars there on the first lap of this race number 2. You know, as you were saying, Adam, this reverse grid does throw up a few issues for the pro drivers trying to get past the AM drivers, but the AM drivers in this series just do not give any quarter to these pro drivers. You know, they say if you're going to pass me, you got to pass me skillfully, or as we saw there, a little bit of bumper cars.
Unless I'm on track, but you know, I've been canned for the series. This is Moons defending from Goosens. Goosens diving down the inside. He still wants to try to catch up with Lewandowski. And he's not the only end right there. Look who's on his inside. That's Russ Fowler on the inside of the Parabolica. He's actually got that spot, but Goosens got that draft. It's going to be side by side for second place in the AMs. They're also fighting for second place overall as well. And Moons is defending. And Goosens sends it up in there, pushes him over like he was a pancake, says, "Get out of my way. I'm trying to catch up to my championship leader," but oh my gosh, Ronald Moons is not giving him any bit of freedom at all. And it's all on board of the Moon train right now as Lewandowski is gone.
He's out of here. He's loving what he's seen in the background. Free to make his laps time. Nice and clean. Just run his line. He's pulling away from these guys. I don't think we're going to see him again for the rest of this race.
Well, don't count any of these pros out, but you know, Moons, this train behind him is absolutely full of amps and pros right now. And if they continue to fight like this, Lewandowski will be gone. Moons goes a bit wide. Here comes Goosens. Goosens and Moons make contact in the foul corner. It's a big wrecking getting out through there. Is Pavel Sivanek and Russ Fowler making their way through there. Ferrari, Pinocchio, and Hayden getting out through there. But Musumeci, the biggest loser, as well as Moons getting involved. Let's take a instant replay of that instant. Ronald Moons at the front of the field. Jens Goosens gets a great run, looks down the inside, big send right there, and he just gets the door closed on him. And then Musumeci gets out wide and spun around the wrong direction. And Goosens gets long going, and I gotta have to say, Moons kind of turned in on him right there. We got another car around. That's Paul Hayden around. This is a horrible start for the pros.
It certainly is. I mean, obviously, we just saw there with Moons. Unfortunately, I think he gave the inside line there to Goosens, and Goosens was well within his rights to try and do it. And
we're four wide. We're four wide. There's contact on the outside. That's Jay Walls trying to make some moves in there. There's Goosens on the inside again, and around goes Pinocchio. What is going on here?
I've seen more cars facing the wrong way than the right way in this one.
Oh my gosh, the pros are having the combined worst round ever for any ARL League Pro Series.
I mean, am I seeing this right? There's AMs at the front and pros are all at the back, pretty much.
Yes,
I mean, that is insane.
Any Apex League series has never seen this happen before. The top pro, Sivanek, is 3 seconds, well, it's 2.5 seconds behind Lewandowski right there. And, you know, he doesn't have anyone around him. I think Sivanek and Lewandowski could have a fight out for the overall lead right now, but this is nuts.
I mean, Moons was sort of like holding up the field there on the first lap.
It was.
See it. Yeah, I mean, you can see Goosens all over the back of him. So it was very much compacted in the cars there, as we see Ferrari just diving down the inside to take that.
That was McMullen. Big Mullen on Ferrari, and Ferrari actually losing a spot to Goosens. Ferrari's at the back of this pack. I think Ferrari might have damage, so they're going to go 3 wide into turn 2. Goosens, 1, 2, round the outside. Can he hold it all through the corner? He's got to have that space on the inside right there. He's going to have a lot of overspeed right there. He gets 1, and now he's got Serrano ahead of him for 5th place. And I think Ferrari is just like, I am done with this AM group. Goose is looking down the inside. We're riding on board of David McMullen. He sees this happening early on the brakes. There's contact. Goosens and Serrano make contact. And I think Goosens might be having a stern talking to after this race.
I'll tell you what, I certainly think that pin has been pulled on this grenade in this second race. I mean, the incidents we've had coming down into turn number 6 has been insane. And like you said, Adam, there's probably more cars facing the wrong way of the track than there are facing the way they should be going. It's been absolutely insane as we see McMullen trying to push Goosens at the moment to the limit. So McMullen just getting back on a bit of a charge after a pretty terrible qualifying, just putting a lot of pressure here on the Goosens. But this is the fight for 4th in class at the moment, and they're in 5th place. I mean, that is just insane in this championship at the moment. How so many AMs are in front of all the pros. I just don't get it.
I'm watching Ferrari fall back now. He's clearly picked up some damage. I'm wondering if he's just going to take home 10th place and take that reverse speed pole for the fight.
Why is Goosens in the pit lane here? That's very unusual.
I would have to say meatball flag.
Oh, it could be. It could be a penalty. They could have penalties already.
Well, penalties already. You know, we do have an incident limit of like 14, I believe, per round.
16 with 8 after that. But that could be our first drive-through after 7 minutes of race number 2. If that was a drive-through, that was insane.
I think it is a drive-through because, yeah, it was a drive-through.
Shows how many incidents he was involved in, was our Goosens.
Well, he was stuck in between, he was stuck in between 3 cars all the time, getting bumped from the inside, getting bumped from the outside, pushing a few people, bumping, getting bumped. It was all rough and tumble right there. I think this needs to go by the Supercar series of rules of just turning it off right then and there. Let the drivers race, but oh my gosh, this is a bit crazy.
I mean, certainly is these front runners actually getting back onto these back markers. I mean, we don't normally see that in 15. Yeah, we don't normally see 15 minutes and having drivers in front of the first place. What an insane race!
Yeah, what an insane race it is. This is reminding me of the V's at Summit Point, and here's the fight for the lead. Not much fight it is. Simonek has finally caught up to Lewandowski. That 3 seconds wasn't as big as Lewandowski could have been. That just shows you how fast Pavel Simonek is. Well, Luku's also behind Lewandowski. Russ Fowler's back there too.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome for Simonek's championship hopes. You know, I think the first place is well out of his grasp, but obviously moving up into that 2nd and 3rd place is a real opportunity here, considering how far the rest of the pros are down the field at the moment. You know, there's 8 places between him and the nearest pros at the moment, but we've still got another 6 minutes left of this race as we watch Musumeci trying to get up on the inside of Paul Hayden here, coming around. And Ferrari at the moment is just like a bystander. Doesn't seem to have the pace in this second race, but he will take any opportunity if these 2 drivers of Hayden and Musumeci, who have banged doors already in race number 1, coming down into turn 2 side by side. Let's see if they can keep it clean coming through here. They're pushing Hayden out really wide though into the exit at turn number 7 as they come down into the Mercedes.
Yeah, heading into the Mercedes grandstand. Oh, there's a touch. Musumeci goes wide. Hayden had his nose in there, and oh my gosh, Roberto Ferrari, something has to be up with Ferrari's car.
Gotta be just cutting his own lines at the moment, I think, or just going out for a Sunday drive, just watching the carnage around him.
I think he's down on the power or something. I don't see any physical damage on that car, but that car is not going as fast as it used to be. And I saw this the other day in the Ray Esports league that we do. Yeah, he does have front nose damage right there. A power loss in a Spectre Ford, and actually a fuel leak happened. So that stuff is still in iRacing, and I think Ferrari is having engine problems from that start, because he does have a big dent on that front nose, and it's not the arrow kind of dent. It was a square-on dent right there, so might be having engine bogging issues.
Yeah, now he's lost his chance to reverse grid. Unless something further happens in front of him, he's going to be starting the final race from way back.
And Rafael Draskas, who stalled at the start, my paddle shifters just died at the start, and oh no.
Seems to have that a lot, don't we? In I think the last 3 rounds we've had.
Yeah, 3 rounds. 3 rounds at the start. In race 2 or race 3, somebody's always started, and for one time, and for once, finally, Pan doesn't hit somebody at the start. Well, Pan's not here. They're actually in the hospital getting stuff with sickle cell. But yeah, it was somebody else who hit. But we're 3 for 3 on cars stalling and somebody making contact on them still.
Definitely. I mean, we can see Russ Fowler at the moment in 3rd place is getting onto the back of Lewandowski as we speak. So certainly the top place for the amateurs is going to come down to the wire here.
This is going to be a huge points payout too.
Yeah,
remember, because the points are always overall and added. You can tell that this 2nd place is going to mean a lot of them in the championship.
Yeah, if your AM drivers are always losing out to your pro drivers, obviously you're scoring less points for your championship all. So with all these pro drivers falling to the wayside, this is a massive opportunity for them.
Yeah, Lewandowski and Fowler, 2 of the top start. Well, yeah, the front row of this race, they're still up there in the fight for 2nd. They got Nathan Healy right behind. We got a 3-way fight for 5th place. I want to say in class right here, but it's actually just overall. It's just,
I mean, look at the positions.
I'm losing my mind of this.
I know. I mean, look at the positions gained and lost. All the amateurs up loads of positions, and all the pros are just
on the outside. Yeah, Walsh on the outside, try to make it done, and it's not going to happen as yeah, it's still Steve Cox up ahead of Steve Cox. What a rebound today. Up 15 spots. Was literally lapped race 1. And, oh, look at him in the top 5 right now.
Just all about keeping it clean, I think, on that first lap. Luckily, he started at the back of the grid, so was out of all the issues that happened on that first lap and managed to get up 15 places. I mean, that's a great recovery drive for him from where he was in that first race to be fighting out here with 5th place. And it's not 5th place with pros behind him. It's all amateur drivers at the moment, all behind him fighting it out. It's absolutely a topsy-turvy 2nd race here at the Hockenheim National A track.
Not to detract from his obvious talents, but I'd love to know how many overtakes Steve has done on track and how many have been cars in the wall.
Yes.
14 cars in the wall, I think.
I'm not going to say 14 cars in the wall. I'm going to have to say about 10 cars in the wall. I know Steve, he's pretty quick. Him and I talk. We've raced against each other. We had an issue at Okayama. I've overtaken him. He's overtaken me. He's got pace out there on track. So I'm going to have to say he's overtaken at least 5 cars legitly as Fowler and Lewandowski fight it out for the AMS lead in 2nd place. Fowler down the inside. Lewandowski goes a bit wide. And that is Fowler with white flag. It's the last lap. And oh my gosh. What am I looking at? I believe that's 2 pros trying to hold around the outside. Mezimushi and Hayden trying to go around the outside of Steve Cox. It was on the inside with McMullen. Oh, that's a door. Jay Walsh out. Jay Walsh just sent it on all of them. He's now up at the front of this pack of the AMS right there. As Musa mentioned, Hayden, and around goes Simon Serrano.
I mean, wow. The 2 pros there, did what they should do. Went around the outside there around turn 6 and 7, got that inside line into the Mercedes. So put themselves in the ideal spot there for the pass over the AMS that were battling more around him. But then they had free wide coming into the corner there. But we see Simonek coming over to take race number 2 win Fowler getting the second place overall, not in class, but overall in the race, and Lewandowski getting third overall. So crazy.
Hayden
And Paul
in the
Hayden,
pits because of a penalty.
oh, this is
He's gonna have to speed into the pit lane, and Steve Cox has to go in there. Oh, that's the dagger right there. But Steve Cox will be getting race 3 pole. Ferrari finishes in 11th.
Problem is if they've got a penalty on their last lap, they won't be able to serve it. They may get a 30 to 40 second penalty here and put them way down the order. We'll have to see in the final standings to see if it has.
Are we gonna have an IndyCar finish where we don't know the actual finish until a minute passes? We're gonna really have to find out. We're still waiting on Sorensen, Pinocchio, and Brahma to come across the line, but well. Adam, this is a great race to have on your first time out.
Yeah, plenty to discuss, definitely. I think we saw at least 6-7 incidents there, all of which will have to be picked apart in the post-race. But great drive from Simonek, a class act just to stay out of trouble, know when to make the moves, and ease his way out into the lead. Fowler, brilliant drive as well to pick up second there. Lewandowski, I imagine he's maintaining his head of the AM Championship.
Yeah, I mean, what a topsy-turvy race. We can sort of see in the finishing as we wait for Andrew Brahma as he just comes over the line. You know, how many amateur drivers are actually in front of all the pro drivers. It's quite amazing. So we'll give you this one, Adam, and you'll have a little bit more time here to go through because they have a 5-minute warm-up. So you will have a little bit more time to go through the grid here.
I think I need it based on the last one. So as we saw, Pavel Simonek takes home the win, 4.3 seconds ahead of Russ Fowler. He really got out into the lead and then just steadily pulled away there. Pro driver doing what he knows how to do. Russ Fowler comes home second. Victor Lewandowski loses out there. He was leading for the first half of the race. Unfortunately, just not able to hold on, but still picks up the podium, which is a great result, really. Nathan Healy comes through for fourth. Enrico Musmucci in fifth place. Managed to lose the cone halfway through there. I saw him pick up the blue cone and carry it for about half a lap. Luckily, he didn't carry that all the way to the end. Jay Walsh in sixth from Damien McMullen, and Ronald Moon picks up 8th place. The third pro driver there in 8th place, just to really demonstrate how many of the pros fell to the wayside. It looks like we did have some penalties applied because Roberto Ferrari has come home in 9th from Yves Frederick, Damien Sereno and Jen Goosens in 13th place. Humantis, who we saw get taken out in the very first accident, I believe, from Paul Hayden. Steve Cox, such a great drive up to 5th, made up 15 places and then has lost it all at the end with a penalty he was unable to serve. Thomas Sorensen comes home 16th from Ivan Pinocchio. Andrew Brammer in 18th. Ronald Vanutrecht in 19th. And right at the back, it's Rafael Drasquez, who qualified pole for the first race and in the second race is to be able to pass that.
As we can see there, then 2 drivers that went through the pits to try and serve their penalties did get a penalty there in the end and tumbled down the order into P14 and 15th. I mean, that was an absolute balmy second race. I mean, we very rarely in this season seen cars have to do drive-through for penalties, but I think we had about 4 cars there having to do drive-throughs with the penalties. The amount of door bashing that was going on, and the corner which I thought was going to be the main culprit of that is turn number 6. We saw a lot of action there, but I'm just intrigued to figure out what is going to happen in this third race, because it's normally the third race that goes absolutely mental, but it seems these guys have gone a little bit early and just gone mental there in race number 2. So be interesting to see what we go for race number 3. So let's have a quick video VT from one of our sponsors, and we'll be back here on Apex Racing TV very shortly.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Raul Fowler.
And Raul Fowler is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke,
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong,
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
and many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
And welcome back to the battlefield here at Hockenheim Ring for the Apex Racing Mazda Cup. Well, I can say battlefield pretty much because race 2 left cars all over the place, the standings upside down, thrown into a trash can, and kicked down a field and set on fire pretty much. The AMs dominated race number 2. The pros started at the back, and guess what? We're going to have the same thing here again. Here's our starting order. Right now, we got pros and AMs mixed in with each other. Yes, Frederick starts on pole, followed by Roberto Ferrari, Ronald Moons, David McMullen, Jay Walsh, Enrico Musumeci, Nathan Healy, Victor Lewandowski, Russ Fowler, Pavel Simonek, followed by Simon Serrani, Jens Gusens, RS Humantis, Paul Hayden, Steve Cox, Thomas Sorensen, Ivan Pinocchio, Andrew Bravo, Ronald Vandercheck, and Rafael Draskas at the end of the field. Oh boy.
And breathe.
Buckle your seatbacks and eat that popcorn because this one's going to be a show.
Yeah, I was getting messages for drivers who couldn't make it today. They were actually glad they didn't make this race. Well, race number 3. Let's get ready to rock and roll here at Hockenheim Ring, and it's green. Goosens gets a great start at the back. Frederick and Ferrari up at the front. Roberto Ferrari somehow got race 2 pole due to the penalties after the race and storms off into the lead. Frederick's right behind him, followed by Moves, Mullen, Walsh, Musumeci, Fowler, Simonek, Lewandowski making moves as well. So they're 3 wide in the midfield right now as the fight for the race second place right there is alive and well as Fowler and Simonek are moving up through the field. Pavel Simonek up 2 spots as he's holding around the outside of Simonek out on the outside of Russ Fowler right there. He's on the inside right now. First time heading into turn 6. Oh, that's looking on the inside for Fowler, sending it on. Sending it down the inside, and oh my gosh.
But it's all rubbing on the exit there. But I mean, what a hole shot from Ferrari there to get away. He just powered away from the front of that grid, and he's just out of sight now. We've got Ronald Moons in second place. Just trying to chase him the nearest pro to him, and then you got Musumeci just a little bit further down. But at the moment, Ferrari nearly 2 seconds ahead with not even a lap completed. It's just insane. As we see Damien McMullen there taking Frederick to take that tops position in the amateur driver at the moment, as Musumeci tries to dive down the inside of Fredericks to take that 4th position off him, and he does it.
Simonek round the outside, cleans up 2 in 1 there. Moves up to 5th place. He's got to make moves quickly. He knows Ferrari's getting away at the front.
And around in the background is Hayden. Paul Hayden's turned around in the final corner. That's a big shot he took in the side right there. You can see the tire mark on the right side of his car.
Certainly a round for him to forget this round. I don't think he's had a clean race so far. As Paul Hayden has, he's got to try and fight again.
Right, this is tight.
We have got
4 wide. 4 wide. And oh, that's double contact right there. We got a car around off the exit as well. That's a 282 of Jess Frederick, who started on pole and is down 18 spots.
Moons and fighting over second.
Absolutely terrible. Ronald Moons here trying to, under a lot of pressure from McMullen and Musa Mecci at the moment. So Moons again, and we saw him in the second race, who was out in front, but he seemed to be a lot slower in the cars behind him, and it seems to be the same again here in race number 3. We got Moons in second place, Musa Mecci in third, Simonek just getting up the inside of McMullen there and pushing McMullen down to third place.
Oh,
but
that's Walsh spinning around the track, and he hooks into Healy, and Walsh and Healy, massive damage.
What happened there? All I just saw in the background was Jay Walsh just fly across the track.
Walsh got loose. That inside curb, he clipped that curb, that upset the car. The car drifts, and then he tries to cut it, and the car grips up right there, and he comes slamming in front of Healy, and Healy is probably shaking his head, trying to get the stars out of his face right there, because that will certainly knock you silly.
Just far too much curb on the inside, I'm afraid. He was in the grass, basically. It loosened him up and then exit stage left.
Yeah, you know, if you look at Healy's car right now, the nose is just dangling off of that thing. And Nathan Healy is certainly wanting to forget this round as well. Pretty much all the AIMs who started at the front of this race have been either pushed out, had an incident, or been overtaken now. And oh, there's still more. Steve Cock gets turned by Serrano.
I don't think that was Drazizak coming.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
It was the second.
I believe it was Serrano on his inside right there. As Ferrari and Musa Mecci leading out. Who's that? That's Ronald Moons going way wide.
I think he's driving an Arctic truck around turn 6 and 7. Oh, Russ Fowler's off here at turn number 7, going out to the wide. Strange why he's not going. Maybe have a hardware failure there coming out of turn 6 into turn 7, but at the front or in second place at the moment, because at the moment Ferrari's just powering away. We can't even see him in the same shot. We got Mr. Mecci here with Simonek right on his tail, and Damon Mullen at the moment the top of your AMs by a long way over Lewandowski in 8 places, 4 places difference between the difference in the AM Championship here. We got Ronald Moons in 5th, Jamantas who's making a charge with Pinocchio in 7th place. So McMullen will do well if he can try and hold off onto this 4th place. But I know obviously McMullen quite well, and he will try and fight as best he can for these pro drivers around him, and probably having an advantage having Moons behind him, because he seems to be a little bit slower than the rest of the pros around him.
Fastest lap there, 1:39.3, as he serenely moves out front. Musmeci and Simonek, 2nd and 3rd. I think they're going to be battling for the rest of the race. They're not going to trouble Ferrari again.
No, for sure not. I mean, Ferrari, the gap, look at the gap, 5.2 seconds from 1st to 2nd. That is the biggest gap we've seen here tonight, and that was from his slingshot from that start of that grid. Literally got a 2-second lead just off the start of the grid. Had an awesome start as we watch Rafael Jozek in 10th place, just getting up onto the back of Sorensen and Lewandowski here.
This is a big look.
Trying to make it. No.
D9 right there. That defensive line. The defensive line by Sorensen really disallowing that move to happen right there. Lewandowski, I think he's seeing this carnage happen, and Lewandowski's just playing this smart. Because, you know, all this carnage ahead of him, he's back in 2nd place in the AMs right there, and that'll be a good points draw for him. But the person with the best points draws right now, the luck of the Iris has struck again for Damian McMullen, who is up there in the lead of the AMs, and somehow he got through there. I believe he let them by those cars that he just lost 2 positions to. I think he let them by. He's doing what he did at Road Atlanta. Just drive up there and just be safe, and you know, he's letting the race come to him, and he's certainly been having that today. He started up near the front, he's just been playing it safe, and that 299 looks absolutely squeaky clean.
Certainly does. I mean, it did seem that he let Germantis Pinocchio through, battling quite hard. And just thinking more about the championship there. He is in, I think it's 4th place overall in the championship, so still got an opportunity to get in up higher into that AM championship. And even trouble thing, but we're watching Germantis trying to get on the inside here of Moon into turn number 6. Moon's going extremely wide, which may give himself and Pinocchio, but no, managing to keep it nice and team and just darting in front of Germantis, but getting that slipstream down. Now coming down into turn number 6, and we're on board here with Ivan Pinocchio as we see Germantis pull to the inside. And Pinocchio's going to try to get both of them on the inside, but no, managed to get in on the inside of Moon's. So Moon's pushed out very wide there into turn 6 and 7. So Moon's losing 2 places to Germantis and Pinocchio there.
Well, Moon's down there on the inside still. He's going to still try to get him right there. But he's got Pinocchio on his inside still. And that second inside line is much more better than the first inside line right there as they continue to race on here to that little short shoot on the runway of the drag strip right here. And I just love this place. It always brings some crazy racing, especially in the Apex Racing League. We saw it in the Vs where it got pretty hectic, and we're seeing it here in the MX-5s and the Super Trucks. But that was for an entirely different reason, Andy.
I think the AMs are playing it really smart here in this race. McMullen and Lewandowski are just letting the pros grow. I think they've learned from the second race that these pros can clearly implode given the chance. They're just letting them go and running their own race.
It really does, but you know, all the pros are pretty spread out right now. There's no real train being formed by them, and you know, we saw that in race number 2, which was pretty much a caveat right now. Let's take a look at our race map, and you can see the separation of pros versus AMs right here. All the red dots being the pros, all the white dots being the AMs right now. And you know, we got to fight for 4th place right now, and the fight for 3rd place. So that's a big dive by Pavel Simnek. Is fight for seconds. Musamechi's right behind him. Pinocchio and Mantis are having to find the same corner as well, but you can see the top 3 really separated from that train, and that train in 4th place can also have a big hit right there. Having Pinocchio and Mantis can get pretty feisty at times, and we could see another incident. Pinocchio up 13 spots to where they started. You know, Carnage is still on the table right now and still being able to be ordered for dinner.
Yeah, I mean, from 4th all the way down to 11th, they're all relatively close on the track as we see them all in the picture there. So, you know, there's opportunity still within this race. We've got 5 minutes left of it, of gaining some valuable positions, being so close on the track. At the moment, we have Pinocchio leading this big long train with Germantis not that far behind him, and Ronald Moons is just getting off the back of him, but at the moment behind him we've got Damien McMullen and Jozizak all over the back at the moment, just trying to get that P7s to join this battle here for
Mantis got a better run. Mantis had a great run through there and also having a good run. Musamechi looked for a move. That's a big lockup slide by Simonek, and these cars have ABS already built into them, and they are pushing all the limits right there. And here comes Musamechi. Musamechi on the inside. Simonek still trying to hold him off right there, but it's still going to be, it still is Simonek who is really wrangling that car, even to its limits, and past its limits too.
Exactly. These two are jostling like a finally medieval jostle horse race here, going into the final 4 minutes. You know, who's going to come out on top? They're both of them very evenly matched really on pace of Simonek and Musamechi, so this one will go all the way to the wire, and I'm sure it'll be a really close finish. And then behind we've got Pinocchio and Germantis battling out with Ronald Mood still on the back, but Josinek has managed to get past McMullen now, so there's only 1 place between himself and Lewandowski at the moment, with Sorensen sandwiched in between that top amateur battle for 1st place. McMullen in 8th, Sorensen 9th, and Lewandowski Lewandowski in 10th. But I believe there's a little bit of a gap between McMullen and Lewandowski, and if he keeps it nice and clean and doesn't fight too much with Sorensen behind him, that amateur championship, or sorry, the amateur race win for here for race number 3 should go the way of the Irishman in Damien McMullen.
I think the word you were looking for is joust.
Joust, that's the one. I can get it out.
Leave it to the night to know all medieval fair games.
There you go. Well, I was thinking the coconut show, but never mind.
Not that type of night. We ain't looking for no holy grail right here. We're looking for all-out destruction right now. This was pretty much out there on track. Draskas and Moon side by side. Draskas setting up into turn 6 right there and using his car as pretty much a body block. Got down to the inside. Moon's turn into him. Gave a little tap out the exit right there. 12 minutes and 50 seconds down. And I think we're close to a white flag very soon here at Hockenheim Ring. So it's Roberto Ferrari in the arena section. Well, he started up on pole, had a lucky pole right there, pulled out a 6-second gap to him, and he doesn't know what chaos is happening behind him out there today, and I don't think he cares. Race 2 was the absolute lowest point that he's ever had in any race here this season, and he gets the white flag across the line. One more lap to go for Roberto Ferrari.
6.6 seconds. I mean, just showed his dominance. Once he got a bit of fresh air, is the dominance. But the real battle here is for second place. Musumeci all over the back of Simonet, going really wide there into turn number 1. Just to get you a decent line, you'll probably take the penalty that you'll get for doing that, the slight incident point, just to try and get alongside him, and he's actually alongside Simonet. Simonet managing to defend that inside line really well, but Musumeci is now on the tail end of Simonet, so it'll be interesting to see. Simonet will defend that inside line because they really want it, as you see him really wide on the track, not giving Musumeci an inch to get that inside line on him to turn number 6, which is the optimal line to go in. But you see him, he's going really deep and giving him the opportunity. Oh no! He just give him to that on a plate, and Musumeci just takes it and says, "Thank you very much."
Clearly running out in the dust didn't help him, got it all over his tyres and just slipped on by the apex.
Yeah, he went deeper and deeper down into that corner. He was almost going all the way off into the old Hockenheim Ring track right there, but he's caught up to him right now, and he's able to pressure him into that arena section. I can guarantee you Musumeci's defending that inside line. Simonet going to try to use the banking to his advantage, try to hold it around the outside right there. He's along side by side with him, really late onto the brakes. Has to be onto the inside right now through the S's in the fight for second. He's on the inside right now. Musumeci, Simonet side by side. Simonet's got the nose ahead. Simonet's got the lead right there. What a last corner move to regain that spot. Musumeci off-roaded it. Tried to gain an advantage. Not going to get there. Simonet in second place. Musumeci with the off-road award right there, taking third place. Roberto Ferrari dominates up there to take the win of race number 3, and taking the AM win, third race round in a row that he takes at least one amateur victory in for Damien McMullen.
I mean, that was just a classic move at the end there by Simonet over Musumeci. Made a slight mistake coming down into turn 6, obviously trying to carry too much speed into that corner, went extremely wide, and then gave it on a plate to Musumeci. But, you know, that was great driving awareness to try and manipulate Musumeci into getting him on the inside into the turn 11, but then gave Simonet the inside line for the last turn 14 and 15, which is you know, you could only see one win there, but great race. So Adam, welcome to your first commentary league, and dealing with race 1 very tame, race 2 absolutely mental, and race 3, yeah, some great driving there on track. How's your experience for the first round of the Mazda that you've been in?
I've got to say, I've got a huge smile on my face. It's been a very enjoyable evening. Yeah, I've loved every minute of that. Some great racing I've seen, although I'm tempted to buy Musumeci a track map after that last way out wide in the last turn. Yeah, I think that'll be taped onto his third place trophy.
Here you go. Learn the track.
And that's a way to do a donut, Austin, not the way that you did it, mate.
Hey, ending up on your roof is also a skill. Adam, we ran out of time in race number 2, so I'll let you take the race number 3 results.
Right, I hope everyone at home's enjoyed that as much as I have. Here are your final results from race 3. Roberto Ferrari runs away with it in the end. He was always likely to off second place. Pavel Simonek comes through. He was our last race winner. He's managed to break his way through the entire pack to come second, but couldn't chase down Ferrari. Musumeci coming home in third from Ivan Pinocchio and Arius Humantus, 11 seconds off the lead there. Rafael Drasquez comes through to 6th with Ronald Moons and Thomas Sorensen in 8th. Our first AM driver home is Damien McMullen, and Victor Lewandowski rounds out your top 10. Simeon Serrano in 11th place from Paul Hayden, Ronald Van Trek and Jay Walsh in 14th. Andrew Brammer comes home 15th from Jens Grusens, Yves Fredericks in 17th, Nailston Healy in 18th, Russ Fowler, and bringing up the back after a terrible meeting, I've got to say, all 3 races right down the back, Steve Cox.
I mean, that was just insane. Probably one of the best rounds that I've witnessed in the Mazda Cup so far. I mean, I think it had everything. It had the complete carnage of race 2, excellent racing of race 3, and race 1 was pretty much a good race overall as well. But we got Damien in the interview room. Do you want to take Damien there, Austin?
Absolutely, Damien. How was the race today? You know, race number 1, I would say was the lowest point of today. Then everything was turned on its head. Okay, first we're going to talk about race number 2. What happened in there, and what was your reaction going through that race?
I was like, oh no, I'm going to get dead here around this track and everything. I was like, no. But look, as I say, I just took the points here today, and that was it. But race 2 and 1, yeah, this is like talking to an ex I don't want to think about.
Well, hey, race 2, you did pretty well. You finished in the top 10, but usually we say top 10 is an amazing result for the AMs, but with race 2, the entire top 10 was pretty much AM drivers.
Yeah, we're starting to put our elbows out and push on, and the pros are kind of getting a bit scared, I wonder.
It's a revolution, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It takes time, but we get there.
Okay, well, in race 3, you started 4th, and you take the amateur victory with an overall 9th place. It's another amateur victory. You know, last round, you had 2 AM victories. The round before that, you were up there as well. And, well, hey, you always find yourself up on that top spot of the AM victory ladder, and, hey, here you are once again. Yeah,
and after the weekend, I just had the 24 hours endurance race with CCR. I think CCR, is it right? SCC charity race. I know Apex streamed it as well, so, but yeah, absolutely tired over that as well, so I need sleep after this.
All right, well, I'll keep this short so you can get some rest.
Damien likes it in the box. Damien likes it.
On Saturday night, and with Andy and everything, talking to Andy and the boys, so it's good crack.
Well, I'll keep this short so I can actually get some sleep, and so we can actually talk to some other drivers. Damien, before I let you go, though, to get some rest, at the pressure for this, anyone you want to thank?
Just want to thank Ollie again for running an unreal championship and your time again, lads. And to all my sponsors and to my friends and to the Veneta Nation crew that raced with me yesterday, thank you again. And everyone that tuned in on the stream, again, thank you very much.
I'm pretty sure they're all proud of you. Congrats on another victory, and congrats on surviving another round, Damien. You have a good night.
Thanks very much. See you next week.
See ya. And Andy, I believe you're standing by with Russell Fowler.
I am indeed, and we'll welcome Russell Fowler to the commentary box. Russ, you seem to be there all the time in the thick of the action. That we saw you have a awesome evening again with some sort of mishaps throughout the track. I mean, you're racing extremely hard. Obviously, you're up there in the Amateur Championship. I mean, how was today's 3 races for you?
Yeah, hi Andy. Yeah, pretty hectic. The first couple of laps of that race 3 was mad. Loads of people taking different lines, and it was just hectic. So I was really pleased to navigate that, and then had a bit of a technical issue, and I just went straight on. I think it took me a couple of minutes to get back in. Just an issue with my VR, which is really disappointing because I think I was on for three good results today. Obviously race 2 was brilliant, so yeah, very eventful.
I mean, let's just talk about that race number 2. I mean, it was obviously the typical reverse grid that we've had all season, and we were commentating on it in the box. That halfway to the end of the race, it was just like role reversal in the timing tower. I literally had to ask Austin, am I seeing it right? Because pretty much all the top 10 were dominated by the amateurs, and all the pros were behind them, and it was just absolute carnage. But for yourself, I mean, it was just a gift, wasn't it, to get that second place overall, not even in the AMs, but overall in the race, and that's a decent point total for you.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, it was, and I kept checking to see, expecting a whole load of the pros to come up behind, but they didn't. So go the AMs, that's what I say.
You're certainly in the amateur class at the moment, not hitting well above your weights, and these pro drivers, I think, are now aware of what the amateur drivers can certainly do, and certainly following you out on track. I mean, we saw you in, and you did answer my question that I was going to ask you, is we saw you in turn number 6 and come out of turn 7 and go straight on, and we did call it that you probably had a bit of a hardware, but you're always a very competitive driver, and if anybody gives you a sniff of a spot, you're going to put your car in that space to take the position, which is always entertaining on stream. Is that how you see it, and you just fight in your own race to try and get as far up in that amateur championship as you can?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of naturally quite competitive, but I think since I started doing these league races, I've tried to calm it down a bit, because I was making a lot of mistakes early on. Diving into spaces that just weren't there, making contact. So I've sort of calmed it down a bit, and I think I've found a nice balance now between, still pushing, but avoiding the silly mistakes and the accidents. So it's been brilliant, and this season in these MX5s has been, really steep learning curve, and maybe that's why you're seeing a lot of the AMs now a bit more competitive, because we've learned a lot from just from competing and having those pros around as well. It's great.
Yeah, it definitely certainly seems to be rubbing off. Obviously, we've had 8 rounds so far. We've only got 1 round left, which is a little bit disappointing for me, because, and I'm pretty sure from Austin, from doing the first couple where he was driving and then moved over to the commentary box. I mean, we've just been having a ball in the commentary. It's just been an absolute carnage. I mean, that race 2 today, I think all 3 of us, because we've got Adam in the box as well. He was new to the commentating, and baptism of fire for him, but I mean, it's just great racing. How are you looking forward to the final race at Laguna Seca?
I mean, it's a good circuit, and it's going to be interesting keeping it in a straight line. I think with a corkscrew always catches me out, so I think I'm going to get a lot of practice in this week if I can, because I don't know if I still have a shout. I don't know if Victor's pulled a bit more of a lead. He got 3 good results today, so we'll see. Maybe there'll be everything to play for. But either way, looking forward to the final round. Should be great fun.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, second race, great result. 10th in the first and 19th in the third. It's a bit of a bittersweet with the sandwich in the middle of the great results. But just have a word with Damien McMullen and trying to get some of the luck of the Irish that he seems to be having in his races for the last round. But it's always great to see you guys on track and fighting for every single position. So before we let you go, mate, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
As usual, big shout out to my wife that puts up with me doing hours of practice every week and spending probably too much money on kit. You know how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, big shout out there, and to you guys. I always listen back to the commentary the following day, and it is really entertaining. And I'm glad you guys have have fun doing it as well. That really comes across. So thanks to you guys and organising a great league.
Yeah, but you'll hear plenty of laughing and amazements in race number 2. That was pretty much carnage. But good luck for the final round of the season, mate. And you are still in the hunt for that top 3 position. So good luck in Laguna Seca.
Good stuff. Thanks.
Cheers, mate. So there was Russ Fowler there, having a bit of a sandwich. 10th in the first race, 2nd overall in the second race, and then unfortunately had a hardware issue that we're seeing on screen at the moment, ending up in 19th place. So bit of sweet for Russ, and I think that's probably across the board for many of the drivers. Had some really good races and then had some pretty horrific races, but Austin and Adam, it's just amazing.
I can tell you who had a great race through race 1 and 3. It was us. We were having the greatest time up here in the commentary box. That was awesome. Adam, the 3 races today, how can you sum them up?
Well, it's pretty difficult. I don't think there's one word that can describe all 3. If I was saying the first one was pretty sublime, the second one a total carnage fest, and the third one just great to see some good hard racing out there. I think the third race was actually the cleanest of the 3. Surprisingly, normally that's the time when everyone's at the end of the day looking to make up those last positions, and it really descends into trouble. So I think they got their act together, most of them, at the final there. I'm just looking through the race results of everyone, and everyone's up and down and up and down. No one seems to have had a particularly consistent night, with perhaps the exception being Mr. Simonek there with a 4th, a 1st, and a 2nd. He's really taken home the points.
Yeah, it is. And taking all the points is what you need to do, because next round is the final finale at Laguna Seca. Thank you all for joining us here at Hockenheim Ring for the penultimate round of the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup. I've been joined by Andy Thompson and Adam Hatfield with Samuli Kumo in the production booth. And I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.